Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and welcome to another flight in the iFly 737 MAX. Today we're going to do a flight that I did in the real world for which I was called out of standby. So they called me, I had to go into a taxi, drive 3 hours to Hannover airport, only to ferry an aircraft over to Berlin and then proceed back home, which took about 9 hours, jump seating through half of Europe. In any case, that was a very exciting experience back in the day, so today we are going to do just that and ferry an aircraft, an empty aircraft, from Hanover over to Berlin. Now let's go ahead and board our lovely Boeing 737 MAX, and we are going to make our way towards Berlin on this lovely VATSIM evening. Okay, so getting on board, first things first, we are gonna turn on that ground service bus over here so that we do get some lights going on in the cabin. Now, there is not a lot more that we need to do over here for now, so let's go ahead and head over into the cockpit where we are gonna start powering things up. Now, in the real world it's normally a little bit brighter than it is over here in the sim, but let me try and find those switches anyway. Here we go with the aircraft powering up. Alright, dome light going on to bright, probably the most important setting of the entire day today. And you guessed it, we are going to do a night flight for this one. So let's go ahead and emergency lights on. We are still going to do all the standard procedures, even though this is a ferry flight. But I will talk about a couple of the specialties for a ferry later on. Okay, so then let's move up to the overhead panel and we are going to test the clackers. If we can find the click spot, that is. Maybe this works a bit better. Alright, here we go. Excellent, then we can go ahead and take a seat in our 737 MAX. Now first things first, I am going to turn on a couple of the panel lights over here. But once that is done, let's go ahead and start working on our safety inspection. So this is looking good, I'd say. And finally we can turn on that one down here as well. Without cabin crew on board, there's a couple of basic things we need to do. Now, first things first, I am going to do the flight deck items up here, and when those are out of the way, we can go ahead and start to deal with the items that we have to do in the cabin. Now, I'm not going to go into the stuff that might be relevant for security over here, but what I am going to go into is a couple of basic things, such as checking that all the equipment in the galley is correctly latched, or checking that the doors are appropriately armed, before we actually start our pushback. So first things first, making sure that all the trolleys, everything over here is properly in place and properly latched. The same over here, no loose items, no stuff like that. Now we are going to have a look at the air stair a little bit later. Now something that surprises me is that we don't have the switches for the air stair installed in here. So the actual airplane, if it has an air stair fitted, should have the retraction and extension switches down here, but it looks like iFly did not model those. Well, maybe they can add it with a future update, that would surely be appreciated. Okay, so that general stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and power up the electronic flight back down here. We are going to initialize the flight, payload and performance, weight and balance. So we're empty on the passengers, empty on the fuel. Then all we gotta do, and I meant to say empty on the cargo, not empty on the fuel, of course. So all we've got to do for this one here is to load up what we need, and 3,300 is the minimum, and I really don't see why we should take any more than that today. Okay, for the fuel, it's 143 kilos taxi fuel and a trip fuel of 1,329. Alright, that is looking good. Let's hit set fuel, set payload, and I'm just gonna keep this one open here for now, because first of all, let's go ahead and start setting up our FMS, please. So, 737-827K active database. Let's continue on the position in it. We are in Echo Delta Delta Victor, and we are taking the GPS left position in here. Alright, insert, and our flight takes us over to Berlin, Echo Delta Delta Bravo. Romeo Yankee Romeo 881. And then for our departure, I am planning on runway 27 right today, and our SID is going to be the Muldo 6 Sierra departure. Here we go. So, over here we are flying via Tango 207 towards Okbear. Here we go, and then for the arrival, it could be either 06 or it could be either runway 24. I'm gonna plan on runway 24 left for the time being, with the Okbear 24 transition over here. Alright, activate that, onto the performance in it. Cost in X6, reserve fuel is 1.7. And the zero fuel weight is 43.8, which should be our minimum. And the cruising altitude, flight level 230. Cruise winds is going to be 249 at 49. Like this. And the ISI deviation plus 2 degrees. Transition altitude 5001. Alright, onto the takeoff page, even though we are not going to use that one today. So, Lex page. Let's go ahead and have a look. So, terminal charts. You can use the airports from the FMS, and for the alternates we are gonna go for Dresden and Leipzig. Okay, search all. That one and that one. Alright. Complete. Hannover, edit clipboard. So, we need the airport and the parking stands, and for standard instrument departure we need the Muldo 6 Sierra departure. So, that's that one in conventional. Let's see if we can find the ANAV version as well. Here it is. Alright, you can give me the night mode, please. Thank you. So then, straight ahead, Delta Victor 250. So we have 600, Delta Victor 250, right hand turn 251, 252, 254. And then via Dokok, we've got the 18 DME point, and then on towards Muldo. And that's indeed what we need. Initial cloud clearance 4000. So let's go ahead and select 4001 up here. Runway heading gonna be something around 270-ish. Do I have an initial heading here? Yeah, 270. Perfect. So that's gonna go into here and also into the courses. Alright, here we go. Perfect, so that is our general setup down here. Last but not least, let's go to the end of the Lex page, and we are going to enter the emergency routing. So that's going to be on track 270 for 25 miles. Put that into here. Alright, here we go. Perfect. So that is all we need for the moment. Then let's quickly go ahead with our cockpit inspection. I am gonna make this a quick one because, well, you guys have seen that one before, have you? Okay, so for the QNH we will have to listen to the ADIS in a few moments, but that can wait for a little bit here until we are completely done with all the rest. Right, I'll just leave the frequencies untouched for the time being. In terms of our nav aids, let's actually go ahead and grab the SID chart for the Muldo non-ANAV departure here as well. So, straight ahead till 0.5 hotel, 2 miles Hotel Alpha Delta, 1395. Can tune that active, then a right-hand turn, inbound Nienburg, 10925. And then we'll tune 1395 from the other end side. And 10925. Pretty much like that. Okay. Over here, it's gonna be inbound to Helingen, radial 285, 17.3. Okay, then I'll tell you what, I'll tune 17.3 on the standby number 1, and that should be good to go. Okay, perfect. And I did just realize I took the chart from the wrong runway here, but that is not gonna matter, the basic setup is the same. So that one's the correct chart, of course. But, as you can see, same thing here. Straight ahead to 2DME Hotel Alpha Delta, right-hand turn. And the nav aids are all the same. Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. Then we can go ahead and tune the other stations over here. Like that. 1 to 1.5 into the right-hand comm. Like that, and let's see, do we have an Asus frequency on here? No. But that's not gonna be a problem, then we just take it from the general airport chart. So, Asus 136575.
Radar vectors. Runways in use 27 left and 27 right. Dependent parallel approach is in progress. Report preferred runway on initial contact. Transition level 60. Wind 220 degrees 4 knots. Have OK. Temperature 10. 2.8. QMH 1030. Hanover information mic out. Hanover information mic. Met report time 1750 Zulu Special. When airborne contact Bremen radar on 119.490. Expect radar vectors. Runways in use 27 left and 27 right. Dependent parallel approach is in progress. Report preferred runway on initial contact. Transition level 60. Wind 220 degrees 4 knots. Have OK. Temperature 10. 2.8. QMH 1030. Hanover information mic out.
Okay, so we've got information mic on board. I've just entered the weather data over here as well. Then we can go ahead and set that QNH 1030. Alright, and the MFRA as well, which is going to be 1200. And here we go. Okay, perfect. Then I'd say we can go ahead. Just make sure that we actually entered the temperature over here as well. /10. Perfect. Well, I suppose in that case, let's go for our IFR clearance. So, clearance via DCL. Well, we can't do that, so it's going to be 1:1.9R55, I suppose. Even though I just see they do have a delivery online, though I don't quite get why, because, well, on 120.405. Well, in that case, I am going to collect our clearance over there.
Bye-bye.
But that actually is the tower frequency, so suppose we're going to call him by tower. Hannover Tower, good evening. Ryanair 881 information. Mike, request clearance to Berlin. Preferred runways 27 right.
Ryanair 881, delivery, hello, information, Mike is correct. You are cleared to Berlin via the Multo 6 Sierra departure, flight route. Initial climb is 4,000 feet and squawk is 1,000.
Ryanair 881, cleared to Berlin, Muldo 6 Sierra departure, flight band route, climb 4,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
Ryanair 881, repeat correct.
So, 4,000 feet, Muldo 6 Sierra departure, and the squawk 1,000. Alright. So, that is that stuff. Now comes the long task of removing this from our scratch pad again. Well, here we go. That went quicker than expected. Alright, cool. So, that is looking pretty good. The only thing that's surprising me here is that we have a route discontinuity. Let's go ahead and have a look at that real quick. Well, that's looking quite okay. Nothing to complain about here. We'll do it that way. Okay, execute. Alright, so, are you ready for the departure briefing? I don't see any threats for this one. Well, it's a very light aircraft, so we are going to have very good climb performance. Maybe that's something to consider. How are we going to mitigate against that? I don't want to use the autopilot straight away because of the climb performance that is not so optimal in the iFly autopilot at the moment. So we will do a little bit of hand flying here, but just anticipate that things are going to go quickly. Okay, so route check please. Echo Delta Delta Victor to Echo Delta Delta Bravo, Romeo Yankee Romeo 881, and we're departing via Muldo departure, Tango 207 Okber for an Okber arrival. Ground distance 230 versus a planner 235. 1.9 remaining, 1.7 required. Okay, time UTC 1837, altimeter 1030, reading 200, I'm afraid 1200, flight directors on, minus master, standby instruments set. It's a left sea takeoff of 27 right, flaps 5, nose procedure 2, with a backup at 1500, and in case of emergencies, straight ahead, 25 miles, climbing 4000, that keeps us safe. Emergencies is briefed in the taxi to the airport, and for the actual taxi procedure itself, we're parking down here, so pushback onto one of the main lines, and then most likely taxi via Lima, Mike, and crossing runway 27 center for a full-length 27 right departure. We can do November as well if they ask us. So, for our SID, we've got the Muldo 6 Sierra, which is via Delta Victor 250, 251, 252, 254, Dokok and Muldo, and that's exactly what we have in here. Climbing to 4,000 feet, and we've got that once, and we can also set that twice. Here we go, that's looking good. And then we can also include a 220 knot restriction. Welcome to the world of Ryanair SOP. Alright, cool. So, that good stuff is set. Do you have any questions on the briefing? No? Wonderful. Well then, let's go ahead and start up the APU. We are going to retract the air stair, which unfortunately we can only do from right here. So, air stair retract. But what we can do from back here... Number one, wait until the air stair has actually retracted. There should be a pretty distinctive sound with that, by the way. It looks like that is missing at the moment. Okay, we can close that door. Like that, and then arm the slides. So that's this side armed, and this side armed. And since we don't have a cabin crew today, that is actually pilot stuff to do. Okay, the door is closed, and then we can take a seat again. APU is still starting. Cabin is secure already. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead with the weight and balance.
HANNOVER delivery, Lufthansa 8
So, 3,300 is checked, and then we've got a taxi weight 46369, takeoff 48226, landing 46897, zero fuel 45069. In other words, we are a little bit heavier, 45.1, that's probably because I didn't use the proper profile, so 48.3 gross weight. is looking good. Okay, perfect. So, the values that we had earlier, I'm simply ignoring the fact that we've got meters per second versus knots over here for now. So, takeoff 2, 55 degrees. And we have a takeoff 2 at 55. And that's 73.2, 73.2. Awesome. Flaps 5 takeoff. The trim is the CG 22.3. Here we go. 5.6 trim is in. Takeoff speeds 116, 116, 126. And that is looking good indeed. Okay. Wonderful. So, safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line, please. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins 1 to 3 removed, prop covers 1 to 3 4 5 removed, ELT armed, light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches normal and auto, fuel 3300 required, 3300 on board and 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE on, emergency exit lights armed, fast melts on, window heat on, aircon and press, packs auto, bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments cross-checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brake, down detent, park and brake set, stop from cutout switches normal, wheel fire warning checked, radius, radar and transponder, set and standby, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing discussed, PA complete, FMC CDU set, N1 IS box, automatic and reduced takeoff 2, speed 16, 16, 26 set, stop trim 5.6 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door, locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete. Okay. So, you can remove all the equipment, please. Here we go. Ryanair 881, request startup.
Ryanair, last station again, Cortland.
Ryanair 881.
Ryanair 881, start approved, hold position, pushback ground 121 bye-bye.
Start approved 121 Ryanair 881, cheers.
5 ready for taxi.
KLM 745, first, set squawk 2422 please.
2422, KLM 745.
Hannover ground, schönen Abend. Ryanair 881, request pushback.
Ryanair 881, standby for push, outbound traffic, call you.
Roger, standing by. Okay, ground from flight deck, go ahead. So, please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed.
KLM 745.
That's all confirmed.
KLM 745.
Roger,
lovely.
stand by for the push.
Check
We
the
are
Alpha
waiting
1,
for other traffic.
Lima 1, Lima, Mike, hold short
Suppose
27 center.
that guy is going... I think that one over here.
Via Alpha 1.
That's
Lima
probably
1,
the one we are
Lima,
waiting for at the moment.
Mike, hold short 27 center, KLM 745.
He's also got hold short of the center runway, so I guess he's going into the same direction as we are. Well, that can only be fine, because it means that the controllers will already get accustomed to seeing a little bit of traffic on that route. Pretty cold inside. Suppose we would be sitting here with our jackets on anyway, or at least, if not the jackets, then at least you'd have your overall on. But, well, you know, if we can get some APU bleed on already, why not do it? Something else that we can just about do while we have a little bit of time is to dim those displays a little bit. Because once we actually start moving, we will eventually dim the airplane down.
Ryanair 881 after the KLM Boeing 737-800.
That's gotta be this guy.
Push approved, face west on Alpha 1.
Ryanair 881 after the KLM 737, push approved on Alpha 1. Facing west. Okay. Ground from flight deck. Go ahead. So, when clear of the KLM, push approved facing west, parking brake is set.
Lufthansa 3 Mike Romeo, contact tower on 120, decimal
And facing west means nose to the right.
Connect tower
Surprise.
120 for Lufthansa.
Before start checklist below the line.
Danke dir ebenso.
Aircon packs off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder alt off, before start checklist complete. Okay, we are clear of the KLM. Okay, ground flight, release parking brake please. Parking brake released, clear to push. Start on the push and stand by for engines. Standing by. So, the standard stuff, we wait until we're clear of the red box and then we can commence our engine start. Interesting, we actually had stairs at the back. Didn't expect that for a ferry flight. Right, ground flight, starting engine 2. N2. N1. Can barely see anything here outside. But well, we've got LED lights on this aircraft. That is definitely going to help. Oil pressure. Even though just barely.
Turkish 4 Victor, Hannover ground. Good evening. Taxi to stand 15 via Foxtrot. Foxtrot 1. Charlie, Alpha, and Alpha 2.
Fox 1, Charlie.
Pushback complete, set parking brake. Parking brake set, you're clear to lower the aircraft, remove all equipment, and advise when clear please. Stand by for engine start.
KLM 745, confirm you're turning right on mic.
Yeah, we are. We overshot a little bit. We're making the turn now. KLM 745.
Starting
Alright,
cutout,
no worries.
monitor 2, isolated pack, I want some air, starting 1. So, N2, N1.
KLM 745, contact Hannover Tower, 120, decimal 180 to things.
120-180, KLM 745. Thank you. Bye bye.
We can pre-select that already. Okay, here we go. Okay, looking like we have a good engine start. Can't really see the ramp agent or anything. They should probably be inside already. Let me do something I would never do in the real world here. No, can't see him. Interesting. Okay, we have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect. Show me the sign on the left with a pin. Have a good day. Bye-bye. So, that is looking good. Flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. neutral. Rudders, full left, full right, neutral. Before taxi checklist, generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, packs auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and the green light, dab trim 5.6 set, start levers idle detent, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Ryanair 881, request taxi.
Ryanair 881, taxi via Lima 1, Lima, Mike, hold short of runway 27 center.
Ryanair 881, taxi Lima 1, Lima, Mike, hold short 27 center. Okay, so we go on to Lima 1, Lima, Mike, and hold short 27 center. Clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Park and brake released. Let's go. So it's going to be the first to the right over here. Look at that, the TUI over there already got all the lights on. Including the strobes. Typical case of pilots forgetting after landing? I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, before takeoff checklist, down to the line please. Config. Checked, flaps 5, green lights, dub trim 5.6 set. Takeoff briefing. It's a left seat takeoff of 27 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2. Packs auto, bleeds on, anti-ice off, takeoff speeds 16, 26. And for the sit, straight ahead right hand turn, we contact departure, latest passing 2000 if I'm not mistaken. Let's just see that again. Contact Bremen radar immediately after takeoff. Okay, we can do that as well. So that is Mike to the right. So we contact radar immediately after takeoff, and that frequency is 119.09R. Okay, emergencies straight at 25 miles, climbing 4000, that keeps us safe. You have any questions? No? Perfect. Cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete, down to the line. So, hold short 27 center, that's the one that's marked in red over there.
Ryanair 881, contact HANNOVER Tower, 120.180, Schimpfu, ciao.
120.180, Ryanair 881, Dankeschön, schönen Abend.
Auf Charlie.
Holding short, Charlie,
Approaching 27 center.
Tower, guten Abend, Ryanair 881, holding short 27 center.
Ryanair 881, Hannover Tower, hello. Continue to holding point runway 27 right via Mike and November, cross runway 27 center.
Ryanair 881, cross 27 center, continue holding point 27 right, Mike November. Okay, clear to cross. And November is that first one over here. Okay, so off to the left. So 119R 4990, here we are. So to the left over here. Strobe light coming back off.
FedEx 213, wind 210 degrees, 4 knots, runway 27 right, clear to land.
Ah, too bad, he's just got a landing clearance.
KLM 745, contact Bremen radar on 119, is 0490.
Well, in that case, park and brake set. Let's cheat a little bit. Let's see how far the inbound is out. Oh, 6 miles! Ryanair 881 ready for departure.
Ryanair 881, roger, behind next landing, FedEx Cessna 208, line up runway 27 right, behind.
Ryanair 881 behind, the FedEx Cessna 208, line up 27 right, behind. at Cessna 208 on a 5-mile final. We could be in Berlin by the time he's landed. But it's gonna take a while now. Especially since it's a Cessna 208. Well, that's gotta be him over there. Suppose we can turn that taxi light off. By the way, interesting fact over here. The taxi light is off, the turn-off lights are on, but the turn-off lights don't do anything. We can see the light reflections on the engine here of the turn-off lights. But they don't illuminate anything on the ground. Like if you turn those off, you can see they go off, but that is not what it's supposed to be like. Wow, the aircraft made it to an incredible 3.5-mile final by now. Now I could be an asshole and ask the tower about the position of the inbound aircraft as we couldn't see anything. And then he would probably realize that he could still easily get us out. But, well, I suppose we don't wanna... Let's just say I suppose we don't want to really annoy him too much, do we? 3 miles out now. So basically, this is a classical case of where a controller could do a little bit of optimization. He probably gave the FedEx the landing clearance because we were not at the holding point yet. But in that moment, if you're a controller, a VATSIM controller, and you're listening to this in the video, you should probably ask the inbound aircraft, or the aircraft that is taxiing to the runway, whether he's ready for an immediate departure, and if he is, just monitor his progress towards the runway, and shortly before he reaches the holding point you can make a decision whether you give him a lineup clearance or not. In our case, we'd probably be in flight level 100 by now, so things would have worked out easily. Even taking other traffic into account, if you look at that lovely little ND over here, you can see that's the position of the KLM. He's now, what, 20 miles out? So there would have been no restriction on the traffic. This is, well, a rather unnecessary delay right now. Well, and there he comes. So... before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP, set, transponder, TA array, strobe lights on, holding at landing lights.
Approaching 27 right.
Intentionally. So, clear on the approach.
On runway 27 right.
So, the traffic is vacating.
231, welcome to Hannover, continue taxi via Lima, hold short of Mike and cross runway 27 center.
And the guy stops. despite the taxi clearance.
Correct, and please vacate the runway.
And he starts rolling. Okay, so hopefully the clearance should come now. Is he behind?
Ryanair 881, wind 210
Yeah.
degrees, 4 knots, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff. Ciao.
Ryanair 881, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff. Bye. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, landing lights on before the takeoff checklist complete. Takeoff. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. 80 knots, checked. V1, rotate.
Lufthansa 8009 Hannover Tower, hello, continue taxi to Wellington Point, runway
Positive
27
climb,
right, Mike
gear up.
November, cross runway 27 center.
LNAV, checked. Schönen guten Abend, Ryanair 881, 1200, climbing 4000.
Ryanair 881, Bremen radar,
Back up.
identified, climb to flight level 100.
Climb flight level 100, Ryanair 881. Set, 100 check, flaps 1. Flaps up. Speed checked, flaps up. I will let the speed increase slightly over here. Oh, flaps up, no lights. VNAV, set standard. Standard, cross-check passing flight level 38 now. Okay, Command A, after takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization, 2.0, climbing, set. Altimeters, standard. Passing flight level 59 now. Checked. After takeoff checklist complete. Okay, using reserve fuel, that's checked. We can disregard that for the time. Vertical speed. Hey, that's a lovely moon outside. That looks pretty awesome. That really looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? $1,000 to go. Ryanair 881 approaching flight level 100.
Ryanair 881, contact frame radar on that crest. This first number. Ryanair 881, contact frame radar on 128.760 Barrel.
128.76, Ryanair 881, cheers. Frame radar, guten Abend, Ryanair 881, flight level 98, climbing 100.
Lehman 126, 325, cheers.
Kill him. Right brake, kill him, 29 goals. You're not descending at a given rate. Descend, descend, descend. Then 3,000, descend now 3,000 feet or more. There's traffic on your 11 o'clock position climbing.
That does not sound good.
And now ring 3 Alpha Kilo, contact Bremen 126 325, kill. Bremen Radar 126 325, also ring 3 Alpha Kilo, schönen Abend noch, tschüss.
Bremen, guten Abend, Ryanair 881, flight level 100.
Ryanair 881, Bremen, moin Emanuel, identified, climb to flight level 230.
Ryanair 881, climb to flight level 230.
733 Mike Romeo, connect München 133 565, tschüss.
Set. 230 check. Wiener.
Mike Romeo, have a nice day. Bis München und schönen Abend, danke.
So, altimeters. Passing level 101, climbing 230, 10 checks. Fuel, balanced,
climbing to flight level
4 pumps on, lights,
LM745, Bremen, how to identify direct
off, APU off, air cannon press, 3.9, climbing, set, fast modes on, recall, checked and monitoring 121.5, 10 checks completed.
Flight level 250 with 2000 on mobile.
Okay, let's get some lights on.
Ryanair 5 to go hotel, descend to flight level 180, 2000 or more.
Descend to flight level 180, 2000 feet or more. Ryanair 5 to Golf Hotel.
So, something that I really do like about the Max is that you don't only get the using reserve fuel message down here, which you can cancel and then not get back, but I was just about to say that it should show beneath the fuel gauges and stay there after you cancel it from here. But that seems to be a bug at the moment then. So be it. Okay, top of descent, 130 miles, easy going. Now, something that's quite special about the Max is that compared to the 737NG, the Max calculates the descent speed dynamically based on the cost index and the wind component. Since we are very light today, with the 30 knot tailwind component, that's why you get a descent target speed of 221 knots down here. Yes, 221 knots. That is how you become an airway brake. I'm fairly sure that ATC is actually going to relieve us of that and make us fly faster, but until they do that, we actually have to fly those speeds. Ryanair is pretty insistent that you maintain the cost index. Even though the aircraft can get really slow at these points, but they want you to do that. Okay, well, and here we have the using reserve fuel once again. But then again, it is estimated 1.7, 1.7 is the reserves, so I'm really not at all worried about that. We simply make sure... Ryanair 881, direct Batel. Okay. Batel, direct, execute. LNAV available? LNAV. Vertical speed. Well, well, this is going pretty nice. Even though we really have to make use of the vertical speed mode quite a bit here to keep our aircraft's rate of climb under control, but again, during a ferry flight that is completely expected.
Ryanair 5 to Golf Hotel, contact Bremen 125, decimal 025, tschüss.
1000 to go.
Contact Bremen on 125025, Ryanair 5 to Golf Hotel, danke, tschüss.
So, a couple of TCAS targets in the area, but nothing significant.
175, tschüss.
So that's all fairly easy going. Okay.
Line 2556, contact Bremen 125.
So, TCAS below, even though Ryanair didn't have that mode, but
Contacting Bremen on
if we have it on the iFly, then why not use it as well?
Thanks for the service. Bye bye.
Negative, den Sektor haben wir auch, aber der ist gerade hier online. 125, 025.
Okay, Wiener.
025. Beeline
And here we go. Flight level 230.
Uniform, defensive flight level 270.
So, traffic just in front, 4,500 below. There he is. not gonna be much of a problem.
To Lima Uniform, descent to flight level 270.
Descending to flight level 270 on Logic 10
Lufthansa 9er Mike, connect with 133.
I don't recall the beacon being that strong on the map. Like, the wings illuminating that aggressively, I think that's a little bit overdone. I mean, it looks impressive in the simulator, but, you know... Alright, so... back into the flight deck for a moment. So look at that. 232 knots cruising speed. Welcome to Ryanair. And they really did these things. So, comsat. Well, and now we have some time. Estimated TD at 29. That's at 18 minutes. Incredible how slow the aircraft is.
Kilometer 12 Bremen 9 identified, climb to flight level 230. 230 KLM 812.
Bremen Lufthansa 831, flight level 360.
So, we can already start preparing a little bit of the arrival charts over here.
Ryanair 881, connect Bremen 124, 175, 22.
124, 175, Ryanair 881, cheers.
KLM 1350, thank you, identified, direct Norco.
Wayne Abend, Ryanair 881, flight level 230 inbound Bartel.
Ryanair 881, Bremen Radar, Hannover, identified.
Good, easy going, that's how I like my Germans. Alright, so coming in by Ogbear, most likely 2 for left or 2 for right. And for the approaches we can take the ILS 2 for left or the ILS 2 for right. So, I really have no idea which of the two to expect. They are only going to tell us on short notice. So what we can do is to listen to the ATIS on 12378 and see what the ATIS says, even though it will only tell us the general direction. So, 123.78. Let's have a listen.
Runways in use 2 furl and 24. Parallel dependent approach operations in progress. After vacating runway 24 right, contact ground on frequency 129.505. After vacating runway 24 left, contact ground on frequency 121.705. Transition level 60. Wind 240 degrees 0.
51 Alpha.
Cab ahead.
Delta Bravo 433. Speed
2.7. QNH 1030.
Delta Bravo 433. 280 knots of beta. Virgin 51 Alpha. And I want to go is descent to flight level 140.
Okay, so runway 24 is confirmed. Which of the two is not quite clear yet, but I'm not at all worried.
Direct Delta Bravo 433.
So what we can do is go to route copy. We didn't really do this in the real world. In the real world you would just rebuild it, when the time comes, but I know that flight simmers like to see this stuff, so let's go ahead and make use of the route 2 for a little bit.
Direct Delta Bravo 433, descent to flight level 140. Descending flight level 140 and direct Delta Bravo 433, Virgin 51 Alpha. On the 15 Charlie, climb flight level 200. Climb level 200, on the 15 Charlie.
Okay, so let's see about the descent winds. Unfortunately, we still don't have them inside the flight deck, so I gotta use my external EFB here. So 247 at 49 and 280 at 27.
Budget 5 Alpha, contact arrival 119er decimal 630, cheers. 119er 630, goodbye.
Raiden Radar, good evening, Lufthansa Whiskey Bravo, is at flight level 110, climbing 160, inbound Sierra.
2 Whiskey Bravo.
So, let's have a quick look. 24 left, 109.5.
280, Lufthansa Whiskey Bravo.
109.5 And
on the 15 Charlie, proceed direct boom.
for the missed approach, we can use BBI 14.1
Direct.
and then Glasdorf 1515.
Affirm.
Direct boom, kan 15 Charlie.
Alright, like that. Good. Anything else? Minimums 349 down here. Here we go, 349. And that's just about perfect. Auto brakes 2 is probably got to do, but let's have a quick look. So, payload and performance, show landing, show en route.
Proceed direct Monarch.
Direct Monarch.
Berlin, too far left, condition dry. So the temperature was 9er and the QNH 1030. I suppose we just make it, I don't know, 5 knot tailwind or something. No reversers, flaps 30, air conditioning on, anti-ice off, auto brakes 2 and no VREF edition. Let's see, 500 kilos to go, so we're looking at 46.9. Let's make that 47.1 just to be on the safe side. Surprise, we can land. Who would have thought that? And that's a 10 knot tailwind now, minus 5 meters per second, so really easy going.
On the 15 Charlie, climb to flight level 240.
Okay,
Climb level 240,
so let's go ahead with our approach
881,
briefing.
descend to flight level 140.
881, descent flight level 140. Set, 140 checked, alt intervent.
Okay, for 2, Bremen, hello, identify.
Let's see, reaching 140. Yeah, quite a bit in front of the airport. Well, I'll just let it stick like that. That's fine. Okay, so for the briefing. Threats for the arrival, I honestly don't see any. So, speeds are in, winds are in, fixed rings 2 far left, 10-4. The approach itself is most likely going to be one of the 2 Okba arrivals. We'll do the Okba 2 far left for now, and if it becomes the other one, the routing is almost the same. So that's from Okba to waypoint 413, max 220 above level 80.
Number 2 Whiskey Bravo, contact Rhein, 133, decimal 035, tschüss.
And thereafter 423, 433. Which we have in here, that's 60 above, maximum 220 knots, which we have, and then onto the downwind, onto the final. Looks exactly as per the chart. There are a couple of Delta Bravo points in between over here. If we get a direct to any of these, we will just have to enter it manually. Alright, let's approach runway 2 for left and use, starting at Xanin 3000 with a 3-degree glide down to the minimum of 349. Then we have Xanin 3000, 3-degree glide, minimum 349. And in case of go around, climb the runway track to maximum 3000 at 0.6.
881, contact arrival 119 decimal 630, tschüss.
119 decimal 630, Ryanair 881. Tschüss, schönen Abend.
Geht so.
The Golf, descend altitude 5000 feet to QNH 1030.
Descend 5000 feet to QNH 1030 and
Arrival, schönen guten Abend, Ryanair 881, level 207, descending 140, inbound Bapov, information Mike.
On 881, good Abend, identified info Foxtrot, expect 24 rights, descend to flight level 100, direct data Bravo 433.
Pushback Foxtrot, 2 for right, descent level 100, direct data Bravo 433, Ryanair 881. Okay, better early than never, set, level 100 checked, then direct 433. Here we go. Execute, LNAV available, LNAV.
Foxtrot valid, expect 24 left, descend to flight level 100.
Level change. Let's go down a tiny bit quicker then. If we make 433 at roughly, yeah, say 5,000 feet, should be absolutely fine. Let's see what VNAV is going to say now. Top of the 730 miles.
Free speed, descent to flight level 70.
Descent now.
Free speed, descending flight level 70, vision 500.
Okay, target speed 221. ATC is going to be so happy about this. But honestly, that's what Ryanair wants you to do. Okay then, let's quickly do the setup for the other runway.
Ryanair want to call
244, 109.9. And for the missed approach, we need BBI 14.1 and only that one. Okay. So 14.1 and 14.1. Perfect. The minimum 354.
Maintain speed 270.
Here we go, and that's it. Alright, cool. So as mentioned, the arrival is pretty much exactly the same until we get towards runway 24 right. Just wondering, did we enter that? No, it's still too far left in here. So too far right, awkward too far right transition, execute, discontinuity. Interesting, that should never happen on the active lag. It should have stayed inbound to 433. But well, we can still do that. So 433, here we go. Then you can give me 5,000 feet at that waypoint. Insufficient fuel, I disagree. 1 point... Interesting, 459 miles, why? Oh, because it replaced some nonsense, okay.
Ryanair want to call radio check.
I want to
Let's
call
do that. That's
arrival
looking better.
IB25, identified.
Okay, 1.7, just about fine.
Right, descent to flight level 100.
Well done, so 244 and 354 minimums, 109.9. That's all looking good. In case of missed approach, we now go straight ahead to...
Ryanair, are you able to maintain 250 knots?
Ryanair 881 F1?
Ryanair, maintain 250 knots.
Speed 250, Ryanair 881. Vertical speed, because I wanted to accelerate with engine thrust, otherwise we're just getting too low. Okay, speed 250. Now the big question is, did ATC expect that we were flying so slowly and actually want us to reduce the speed? Or did they indeed expect us to increase the speed now? Level change. Alright, passing 15. Signs are on. Well then.
Ryanair 881 descent to flight level 80.
Ryanair 881 descent flight level 80. Set. 80 checked. Okay, so another look at the missed approach now. And I have no idea where we've got the runway waypoint twice. Or Okbear. There's something wrong with the missed approach routine. If we have to fly missed approach, we do it conventionally. So straight ahead BBI, radial 296 outbound. The runway track 0.6 from the ILS, maximum 4,000, then follow the radial 296 outbound towards Okbear. So 4,000 feet. Straight ahead, 0.6 miles from the ILS, and then onto the radial. Interesting. That runway change really seems to have confused the FMS here. 2 runway waypoints. Suppose we could do this. Though we are technically speaking no longer allowed to fly the missed approach using the HANNOVER guidance anyway now. Well, I don't care. We'll just keep it that way. Okay, 1.7 arrival fuel, that's pretty much the minimum. But doesn't sound like there's a lot happening, so I'm not worried.
Virgin 5
400 kilos to go. Let's calculate 200, so 47 tons landing weight. Flaps 30 landing, auto brakes 2, vacating to the left most likely. And that's really everything there is to it. Come on, I cancelled you already. Okay, questions? No? Beautiful. Descent checklist, please. Pressurization, land out 150, anti-IS off, approach with fuel discussed, IS and outbox checked and set. Approach checklist, sorry, descent checklist complete. So you can already go to the VSD over there. And let's just enter Delta Bravo 433 again. LNAV available. LNAV. Oh, look at that, the old Berlin Tegel airport down there. Even though that one is long closed already, the interesting point is that we actually see it down here on our nav display. Because this should be long gone. They closed this one like several years ago. Looks nice to see it though. Man, I did a lot of approaches to this one in the simulator while I've been a child. A lot of approaches here. Okay,
Ryanair 881 descent to flight level 60.
Ryanair 881 descent flight level 60. Set, 60 checked. Passing 9-4, descending 60, 10 checks. Fuel, balanced, 4 pumps on, lights on, angle of bank 25, air cannon press 4.4, more or less maintaining, set, fast modes on, recall checked, and 1 to 1.5 is deselected. 10 minutes, given, CPDLC disconnected, check checks complete.
Ryanair 51 Tango, expecting LS approach runway 25 right and speed 50 and
vertical speeds.
altitude.
Let's make sure that we don't get too low. In a 737, more or less flight level 7080 beam the field normally works pretty well, so we are actually a tiny bit low on the profile right now.
Germania 2533 descent to altitude 5000 feet, QNH 1030.
0305, gas, Germania New Flight
Heading arrival, hello, Austrian 39 Bravo, passing level 169, turning level 140.
Austrian 39 Bravo, arrival, hello, identified. Info Foxtrot, expect LS 24 left, descent to flight level 100.
Descent flight level 100, expecting LS 14 left, Fox, but Austrian 39 Bravo.
So, Berlin.
Red Nose 5608, hello, identified. Clamper, sit to flight level 160.
1000 to go, checked.
Germania 2533, contact director 121.130 per mile. Ryanair 881, descent to 5000 feet, QNH 1030.
Ryanair 881, descent 5000 feet, QNH 1030. Set, 5000 check.
Ryanair 881, contact director 136.105. Bye.
136.105, Ryanair 881, cheers. QNH 1030, cross check, passing 6900 now. Check. Okay, 136.
Ryanair 1 to go.
105. Was it 150?
Turn right to the 0, gate
Nope, that sounds like a director.
2 left, reporting when established, version 5 on Alpha.
Version 5 on Alpha, speed 170 knots or greater until 5 miles final.
170 knots or greater until 5 miles final, version 5 on Alpha.
Berlin director, hello, Ryanair 881.
Ryanair 881, director should like identified. I can offer you a short approach either out of 6 or 8 miles final if you'd like to fly this.
Ryanair 881, happy with either.
Ryanair 881, roger, to expect 6 miles, turn right heading 140, you know becoming number 1, speed 220 or greater.
Ryanair 881, right heading 2 for correction 140, speed 220 or greater.
Germania 2530, you know becoming number 2, speed 220 knots.
Okay, let's make that speed of 220. Ububu on top, please.
Ryanair 881, descend to altitude 3000 feet, expect further descent in about 1 minute to keep inside of protected airspace, Charlie.
Ryanair 881, descent 3000 feet. Okay, now we need some speed brakes. No clue why that increases the thrust as well. But here we go. Speed brakes are out, and then the first check, please. So, frequencies. 109.9. Fixed rings, runway. Oh, that's still not updated. 24 right. Okay, /10
Vision 5 on Alpha established.
4.
Vision 5 on Alpha, Dankeschön, contact tower 118.805.
Okay,
118.805.
Ident, India Bravo November Whiskey, and that's check 3 times. Standby instruments set, and the course is 244. Approach checklist. Ultimate instruments, cross checked, approach aids, checked and set. Approach checklist completed.
Ryanair 881, descend to altitude 2000 feet, speed 170 knots or greater.
Ryanair 881, descend 2000 feet, speed 170 or greater. Set, 2000 checked. Flaps 1, speed checked.
Ryanair 881, turn right heading 210, cleared LS approach runway 24 right, support established.
Ryanair 881, right heading 210, cleared LS 24 right, go. Flaps 5, speed checked.
Ryanair 2533, turn left heading 280, descend to 3000
speed
feet,
checked.
cleared LS approach runway 24 left.
280, 3000. Okay, approach arms. Let's make sure we don't dive too quickly. Glide slope alive.
2500.
Terrain noted.
Ryanair 881, resume normal speed.
Ryanair 881, normal speed. Okay, localizer capture, glide slope capture.
Ryanair 12 Golf, expect 10 miles final, turn right heading 140, descend to 4000.
Runway heading 244, go around altitude 4000 set.
Ryanair 12 Golf, correct, turn right heading 140, descend to 4000.
Okay, looking excellent.
And 4000, Ryanair 12 Golf.
That's how I like to fly these things.
Director, LOS, 39 Bravo.
Austrian 39 Bravo, director, schön track identified.
So, how close is the guy behind us? Yeah, more than enough space. Nothing to worry about. Ryanair 881 established.
Ryanair 881, Dankeschön, contact tower 120.030, schön Feierabend, tschüss.
120.030, Ryanair 881, Dankeschön, tschüss. Okay, gear down, flaps 15. Berlin Tower, schönen guten Abend, Ryanair 881, ILS 24 right.
881, Tower, hello,
Flaps
125
30.
right, clear to land, with 25,
Check, flaps 30. Ryanair 881, runway 25 right, clear to land. Okay, landing checklist. Start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, armed green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 2 set, flaps 30, 30 and green light, and landing lights on, landing checklist complete. Okay, let's go manual.
Landing 722, traffic information, you're number 2, number 1 is an A319 lining up from Mike 7.
Number 2.
Stay Victor Lima, runway 24 left, clear for me at takeoff into 250 degrees, 5 knots.
Careful takeoff.
500, continue.
minimums.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Okay, speed break up. Thrust goes normal.
To port left.
80 knots.
Hello, continue.
Manual brakes.
Then F533, reduce final full speed.
This is final right speed, 95
And here we go. So.
Caution, on taxiway, on taxiway.
722, runway 24.
Yeah, absolutely intentional.
533 is fine.
Okay, so contact ground 121-705.
Having said Victor Lima, contact departure 120.630, ciao.
Contact departure 121-930, Boeing, Victor Lima, goodbye.
Negative 120.
Contalor, Ryanair, 881, runway vacated.
Ryanair 8811, on the road, taxi, stand Alpha 02 via Victor 4 Foxtrot.
Stand Alpha 02 via Victor 4 Foxtrot, Ryanair 881. Okay, that's gotta be to the left over here, even though my ground chart doesn't load at the moment. But yeah, Victor 4 is over here. Okay, so Foxtrot, I suppose, is to the left. Yes, it is. And then we're looking for gate Alpha 2. Let's go ahead and get ourselves GSX. Alpha 2. No follow me needed. And the taxi chart still doesn't load, it seems. Oh, here we go. And Alpha 2 is the second gate on the right hand side. Which is this one. I have to admit I did not see that first gate. But we started the APU a little bit late anyway, so... probably not all that wrong just to go this slow. Okay. This way it doesn't look to the ground crew like we're not knowing what we're doing. Even though I do admit that these things are a lot easier when you do them with two pilots. Two blue, one red, engines dead. Okay, so first things first, I am going to leave the active frequency so that we've got a little bit of silence for ourselves. And then, lights on. You go off, you go off. And well, since this was the last flight of the day, we can go ahead and shut it down completely. So, both engines below 20%. Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, 1 on, electrical on APU, fast melts off, window heat off, probe heat auto, anti-ice off, hydraulic pumps off, voice recorder not installed, packs off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior light set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up and light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB/RCB in, and the cockpit door is unlocked. Okay, let's go ahead and get ourselves some ground equipment over here, and then here we go. So, parking brake released, and then so slide is disarmed. Slide is disarmed. Now this is the moment where we would need the panel to extend the air stairs. Unfortunately we don't have that, so we'll have to do it in here. So here it comes. Now next up, let's go ahead and do a little trick that every successive crew is going to be very thankful for. So the rails of the air stair should connect to the fuselage over here, by the way, so this is not quite correct what we see there. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and shut it down. The nice thing about not flying with passengers on board is that you don't need to wait for them to get off the aircraft. And that is one of those things that I do really appreciate about it, even though I have a feeling I shouldn't say that too loud, because I'm absolutely sure I will eventually find somebody who is unhappy with that. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and shut that thing down. So what else do we have? The IRSs are off, emergency lights are off, pumps are off, window heaters off, packs off, trim air off. I think that's pretty much it. But let's go ahead and find out. Secure checklist, please. IRS mode selectors off, cabin utility IV galley power on, emergency exit lights off, air compacts off, trim air off, APU and ground power. Nope, the other way around. Off, and battery off. And that's it. Secure checklist complete. So, normally, before you shut off the ground power, you would have your colleague go up here and hold the ground service switch. Because, contrary to the iFly implementation, in the real world, you press it, it goes in and comes out again. So it's only you press it, and that triggers the ground service. In other words, to shut the aircraft down again, you need to push it again. So the normal procedure would be that your colleague is waiting over here and holding the switch down, and then you switch it off in the flight deck so that the ground service immediately comes on and the aircraft stays, or at least the cabin, stays powered. But well, neither way, we are in Berlin, so thank you very much for flying along. I sure hope that you enjoyed this one. Leave your feedback in the comments below, and let me know if you want me to do a couple more ferry flights, maybe explaining a couple more things, even though I do have to admit that a lot of the things that you have to pay attention to were actually dealt with in this video already. Nonetheless, let me know your feedback as always, and be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.